and we're going to take advantage of the opportunity. And the opportunity is presented to us this week, most recently by the School Up North, which is referred to by Ohio State, the School Up North. The School Up North gave us the motivation to go with Hail to the Victims as a title for our show this morning. And yes, it is a play on a particular song that a particular school uses. But man, we're going to get into it this week. Michigan. That School Up North did some things this week. Some things got exposed this week. And we're going to start there before we get to Notre Dame. Sometimes you get a gift in December. It is Christmas. But we got our gift early. The gift is the college football committee did what they did. And then Sharon Moore, the head coach of the University of Michigan, did what he did. And so here at the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide, there are a lot of sports stories that have business implications, and we about to make it entertaining. If you've never heard the Ball Hog Sports Talk, it's where sports, business, and entertainment collide, but it is where a few businessmen get together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion, and man, we about to be entertaining. Sharon Moore is the latest of men that fell victim to the inability to say no. And we're going to talk about just how undefeated the P is. And by the P, I mean the power of the P. I'm talking about the purse. I'm talking about the purse. This is a family-friendly show. Mm-hmm. The power of the purse. We're going to go old days where just women wear purse. So bear with me here. The power of the P, man. The P is won again. And in this case, we're going to talk each and every one of our topics has a victim. I'm going to start with the first victim of today. And it's the victim that is the University of Michigan. Michigan is a victim to the poisonous tree. Ever since Jim Harbaugh was hired there. And you got to start asking whether or not their championship trophy, all respect to you, you have a championship under Jim Harbaugh. Was it worth it? There were 7, I think, coaches from that coaching tree that have been arrested. The provost, the president.
This sounds like a Trump administration. Let me stop.
Yeah, we ain't gonna get political. Although CFP got the playoff committee got political, we're gonna stay apolitical today.
I'm sorry.
We're going right to the heart of the source of the matter, University of Michigan. We know that Jim Harbaugh was suspended for sign stealing. A whole elaborate scheme.
He borrowed them signs. He was going to bring them back. He was going to bring those signs back.
He had a 007 elaborate scheme, and you thought that would be sort of the most interesting saga that happened under Jim Harbaugh, but it was just the tip of the iceberg. Enter Sharon Moore. You remember when he was the interim coach, and after he won the first game, he started crying?
He's my quarterback.
Yeah. That's my quarterback. That's for you, Jim Harbaugh. I knew then we was dealing with a man that wasn't wrapped that tight. Not to make fun of any mental health, so I'll make sure that I don't make light of that.
You're right, bro. Hey, Christmas around the corner. We know some people wrap things too tight. We don't criticize people that's not wrapped tight.
He's not wrapped tight. I knew when that man was crying on behalf of Jim Harbaugh. Somebody that don't pay his bills. Somebody that don't sleep in the same bed with him, I hope. Why are you crying on behalf of Jim Harbaugh, who was rightly serving a suspension because he had a 007 elaborate scheme stealing signs of other teams, and you crying on his behalf? I just hope somewhere in California, Jim Harbaugh, simple ass, better be crying on behalf of Sharon Moore today. If I don't see a video of Jim Harbaugh crying for Sharon Moore,
better start a GoFundMe.
Something. But the fruit of the poisonous tree, Title IX, and the implication there too are on full display in Michigan. Because of their first scandal, and stay with me here, because of their first scandal back in 2020, when we all dealing with the tragedy known as COVID-19, the provost, Martin Filbert, was found to have sexually harassed multiple members of the university, not one, multiple members of the university community, including employees and graduate students in his lab. Mm-hmm. In response, the university created policy number 201.97 prohibiting most supervisor-employee relations. In 2022, President Mark Schlissel was fired for an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate. That was a big deal because the Board of Regents found it was very egregious given his role in the reforms to prevent such behavior.
I got to stop real quick. Hey, Keith Wilkerson, I'm going to question your upbringing, man. You don't come into the room and just speak to one person. You just going to say, Bobby Brown, good morning. No, like you don't Keith. See me here. I'm 300 plus pounds. You don't see me sitting here. You know what I'm saying? I'm
what up, Keith? No, shout out to St. Thomas Aquinas, the illustrious St. Thomas Aquinas.
Good morning to you, Keith.
Florida area.
You see how easy that was?
Yeah, all man. Right.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
All good. But I got caught up. St. Thomas Aquinas, Keith Wilkes is the best running back I've ever seen play the game. Down there. Keith Wilkes is the best running back I ever seen him play the game. Shout out to the illustrious St. Thomas Aquinas.
Now I see why he speaks to you and stuff. You out there making stories out there. You've seen a lot of good running backs in your day.
Greatest one ever, and he should be tuned in. He was at the Ohio State at one point. But guess what? We just rattled off 7. We broke the record. 7. We went 7 in a row. State championships.
Oh, I'm sorry. I done got you distracted. I got you talking about. My bad. You were saying about the other thing?
I was saying.
You were saying. I'm sorry.
That was 2022 with President Mark Schlissel, and now 2025 we got Sharon Moore because he said, "Hold my beer. All these scandals. I need to join the party." The Title IX and workplace relationship stuff is huge, and I don't want to make light of that. And there have been people that have asked rhetorically, well, what did they do wrong? There's the criminal part of what Sharon Moore did wrong yesterday, and we're not going to make light of that. It's been alleged. He could have
kept it civil, too. He could have just kept it at ruining his whole family life and his career. He could have left it at that.
Yep. Nope. He wanted to take one further, and there might be, and has been speculated, that he's got some real challenges going on mentally right now, which I can understand, but it even predated this disclosure. All right. But for you guys who keep asking rhetorically, well, what did anybody do wrong? It was a consensual sexual relationship. If someone's your subordinate, it eliminates the ability for it to be consensual.
It's almost like them being a minor. Think of them as becoming a minor.
You are unable to engage in a air quote consensual relationship with them. And the reason behind that is because of the power imbalance. When there's a supervisor-employee relationship, there's a power imbalance. So not only was there a power imbalance with this, I'm going to call just, she ended up being the executive assistant. And the reason why is because there's inherent risk of favoritism, coercion concerns, and hostile work environments for others. Think about it. Favoritism. She got quite the promotion. Quite the pay increase. Coercion concerns. Definitely some coercion both ways. When they brought her in the first time, she said, ain't nothing happened. Why? Coercion. And then hostile work environment. It has been stated by a lot of the reporters there locally, by people on campus. There's even a picture randomly shown on Twitter of him walking around with this lady. So there's a hostile work environment because everybody has to be on the hush-hush. I would imagine every time his wife came around, a very hostile work environment. So that's the answer to the rhetorical question. Well, what did you do wrong? It was a consensual relationship. There is no such thing when it's a subordinate. So that's victim number 1 is the University of Michigan. A very hostile situation. Victim number 2, the lady in blue. I'm not going to call her by name. A lot of these things are alleged, and I'm sure she'll have ample opportunity to give her side of the story. But let's call her victim number 2. Victim number 2 is front and center right now and being sort of raked through the coals. Reputation is damaged forever. How do we feel about victim number 2, the lady in blue? The staffer. Let's call her a staffer that then became executive assistant. Let's not call her by name. We're not going to do nothing. We're going to try to be professional about this. So let's call her the lady in blue.
I'm gonna go on record before I talk about her and just say, at the end of the day, Sharon is the monster in this story. He's the boogeyman.
Okay.
Howsoever, it does take two to cheat, right? She does. If it comes out later that he was pressuring her and doing different things, well, I mean, it is hard. Young. I don't know how old she is. Do we ever figure that out?
In her 30s.
Okay,
I
so
think
she's
she
not young.
graduated around 2013, I think it was.
So she's grown. So she knows what she's doing. She's not young. I'll take the youth part out of it because I don't even know how old Sharon Moore is, but I don't care. When you're in your 30s, you're grown. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you're a victim. I got to hear how it came about, man. I mean, at the end of the day, she probably was attracted to the power and the position, and
the power of the P, the position.
Power of the position.
Power of the P, the position. I like that.
Power of the position. I've been trying to clean it up ever since you said it. But so he has a power in the position, and some people, I feel like I don't like to disrespect women by saying that, well, he was this and she couldn't.
Home record. Let's say it. Come on,
home record too. It's his fault though. I mean, it's not her response. She didn't get in front of the church and all her friends and stuff and say that she was never going to mess with nobody. He did.
They followed each other on social media.
That's the part where it starts to get trifling. When you was like, man, come on now. The least you could do is be rude to me when you see me. Don't speak. You probably held my kids and stuff. You know how many times he probably picked up one of his kids when he came by the office in front of the wife? The wife probably gave her a Christmas card, a gift last year. You know what I'm saying? You were my husband all the time. She probably treated you like family. I bet she did treat you like family. Shame on you, hussy.
I feel like you're changing your tune now.
I am. The more I think about it. But you know what? He's still the she's if it was crimes, she's the accessory to murder. He's the murderer, and she's accessory to murder. I mean, at the end of the day, there was some weirdness going on. She had got pregnant. There was stories about he had a plan. He needed a big brother. He had a plan B delivered to the office. Sometimes the side stories are better than the story because then you can spend all day thinking, well, why would he have the plan B delivered to the office? Well, if the plan B was delivered to the office, of course he's going to get in trouble. But the plan, supposedly I don't know who delivers stuff like that, but that person called the university is what the rumor is.
There's a DoorDash. Allegedly, there's a DoorDash informant. This story is just salacious, man. Yeah. Hell to the victims. DoorDash got dragged in this. They caught a stray. Now you can't even get
does he have a civil suit? Is there any HIPAA compliance when it comes to DoorDash, or can they just put your business everywhere? Is that public knowledge? I can just tell everybody what we were ordering on DoorDash. But I guess there was nowhere else for him to deliver it. So you tend to think that if that is true, the way I understand Plan B to work is you have to take it immediately after your bad little oops. Because first thing I was thinking is, was she trying to trap the man, or why wouldn't you know? I think you should know in your 30s how you get pregnant. But unless he doesn't understand, that Plan B had to come right away. So you'd think it was a slip. Well,
that's where, and then we're gonna move on because there's so much to cover today, and we are getting to Notre Dame. For all y'all been talking about Notre Dame all week, you gonna get it today now. We finna get off this Michigan stuff pretty soon. You gonna get this Notre Dame work today, baby.
Let me finalize your answer your question because I'm dancing too much.
But I want to add to this. I think it's gonna help where you're going. The Plan B being delivered to the office versus being delivered to her home, I think is a part of the coercion. You deliver it to the office because you want to make sure she takes it.
Well, yeah, she probably doesn't even know. You wanted to show up at the meeting and said, take this pill right here. You know what I mean? You wanted to get this thing. Take that. Go ahead, swallow two of these right here with a little sip of water. Put a little vodka in if you need to, whatever you got to go do.
I should not be laughing.
We shouldn't be laughing, but that's how I deal with stress. When things are stressful and I'm stressed, as a man, I'm over here like a man that got no sins, but I'm still stressed for him because he did so bad.
The power of the pill this time.
Yeah, the power of the pill. Yeah, that pill is powerful. But so then eventually she gets in I believe she terminates the pregnancy. And then at that point, she ends up getting double. So this stuff has happened over time. And then she gets her salary doubled. This didn't happen all last week. This has been going on for quite some time. So I don't know. Allegedly. So I don't really believe So he's 39, she's 32. So there's no real big age discrepancy like that. That's a safe age situation. I don't know. She's a victim in as far as if she didn't want this information to come out and it came out, then I'll say that she's a victim in that circumstance to an extent. I don't know how the story came out. Some reports say that she denied this when she was asked about it before, but her story changed.
In the summer. It was an investigation over the summer that was well documented because there were rumors that there might be inappropriate behavior. So there was an investigation. The athletic director is probably holding on to that fact with dear life because if not, he's gone next.
But no, I'm going to go back. I'm going to give her a final answer. She's a victim because at the end of the day, although she did enter into some bad behavior by her choice, the way that this thing ended with him breaking into, if these allegations are true, breaking into her home, threatening to kill himself in her house and threatening to kill her. There was rumors of some sort of stalking, which I don't know when you have time to stalk when you're the head coach. Do you recruit? How is the recruiting class this year? When did you have time to stalk? Were you hiding in the bushes? You're the head coach of Michigan and she probably lives in Ann Arbor. What the fuck you looking? What you looking at, coach? Nothing. Why are you over there behind the bushes? I don't know.
I'm sign stealing. He probably like he went. I'm going with sign stealing.
So I don't know. A lot of those things are speculative. So what made her decide to come forward? Maybe it was his behavior and how he was acting. She started to get nervous and she didn't know what to do. Obviously, her doing that in someone else's marriage doesn't deserve to have someone bust in your house and threaten to kill himself and you. I don't believe that those are the risks that you accept, but I don't know.
So she's the victim. You go. I'm with you on that. Now, to me, we turn to victim number 3 in the Moore family. He's got not 1, not 2, but 3 lovely, beautiful daughters, all under the age of 6, and his wife. And when you think of a hostile work environment, one of the components of the Title IX ideologies that we talked about at the beginning of the show, when you think about a hostile work environment and his wife coming around with the kids, that's who I think everybody probably feels most sorry for and can be most sympathetic to. The family. Clear victim here. You worked your entire life. Think about all the sacrifices that his wife had to make. Being a college coach is tough on the coach, but I would argue even tougher on the family.
Yo, you had to have a special kind of wife to be your coach.
You're all moving around. You're working all the time. You can't go to the grocery store. Luckily, his kids are too young to be in school, right? Or maybe, the oldest 6 years old, you're probably in
kindergarten.
School,
they're not going to tease you in kindergarten.
They're not going to tease you yet at 6. But you got to endure all of the backlash in the grocery store, the side eyes when you go to mass. There's a lot going on. And then you finally get to the top of the mountain. You are the head coach of the University of Michigan, which has been valued from a valuation standpoint, the number 5 most valuable program in all of college football, valued at about $1.83 billion. You have access to something so valuable, something so high profile. So your family is thinking that it was worth all of the sacrifice. Now he's only 39, so he got there quicker. I think that's part of the problem. That's a story for a different day. While we celebrate getting these younger coaches in place earlier, truth be told, at 39, I think he took the job at 36 or 30, whatever it was, in his 30s. You ain't ready for certain things. Life hasn't thrown you certain curveballs. But the family, when they're on the top of the mountain, man, that's quite the fall. So that's the clear victim here. More family. I'm praying for his wife and her sanity. We'll talk about Sharon Moore and his sanity, but she ain't do nothing wrong. She did everything right. Supported him, sacrificed.
It's rough. It is rough. You go through all that situation to support your man. Because again, like I've said this a lot of times, people, that coaching life is serious, boy. And a lot more than nothing against normal housewives or wives, a lot more than the average wife is dealing with when you have a high profile husband like that that's always gone traveling. If he does great, they talking, talking. You got to show smiles at the grocery store. If things are bad, you hear people talking trash about you and all that kind of stuff. And then to do her like this, it's an embarrassment. The good thing is when it comes to that is so many men ain't shit that it's not like she's nothing she can't get over. Like it's not like she's got this rare ass occurrence and shit. Everybody's
I feel offended. I feel attacked. He said so many men ain't shit.
So the good thing is people are going to embrace her and they're going to reach out and support her, right? They're going to say, this you didn't deserve this.
She messed around to be the governor of Michigan when it's all said and done.
She fucking around being the governor of Ohio. It'll be so Ohio, they'll hire. Let's just rub salt in your wound and make her the governor of Ohio. But so I think there's a lot of with her, she'll have hopefully a good support system. But now she's gonna have to leave him, even if she wants to stay. She gotta go just to show her daughter.
With 3 kids, all under the age of 7.
And now the money ain't gonna be right. He's never gonna get a job again. So
no, they fired him for cause.
And he's unhireable. After he could have got his job in a couple 5-6 years, but when you pull the knife, that's done. So now you can't
in essence, he did kill himself. He killed his career with that.
Yes, so now she can't even really dig in his check to make him pay too tough.
No.
There's nothing to garnish.
So we gotta go to victim number 4, because there's also this thing out there. The optics are bad because you cheated on your wife. The optics are significantly worse. And we just gonna call it what it is. This is America that we live in. When said wife is white. The optics are significantly worse as a black man when said mistress, staffer, is white. We gonna say the stuff that a lot of people won't say here on the Ball Hogs.
One more rung. If it would have been black wife, white staffer, that's off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
That's off the edge of a cliff. That would have.
He would have gone one further. But we got to get to this. My man Scott Bibb, what's up, Bibb, is in the building. He says he messed it up for a lot of future black coaches. And so here it is, because we got to get the victim number 4. And while everybody might hate this particular victim as described as victim, Sherrone Moore himself and the black coaches that might now be categorized as untrustworthy.
Let me ask you a quick question. I don't know. You're an attorney. You're an attorney. I don't know if you did any criminal law, but if you commit suicide, are you also considered the victim?
I don't know, man.
Okay, because if that's not the case, I don't like number 4. I don't feel like he's a victim.
Well, I'm just saying number 4 in the sense of this. Here's where Sherrone Moore could be considered a victim, right? Jamel Hill came out and talked about all of the other coaches that got a second chance. See if I can find that.
No,
I never.
Jamel, shame on you.
All right. So just hold on. She talked about all the other.
Where's my holy water to throw it on you, Jamel Hill?
Some of the holy water.
Shame.
She talked about my own Urban Meyer, right? We talk, it's Michigan, Ohio State. And he was caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and Urban Meyer. And the day after he got fired, Fox picked him back up. Not as a coach, but every coaching job that comes available, including Michigan, Urban Meyer's name gets mentioned. And so I don't necessarily agree
booty tickling to abortions. A little booty tickle.
They're not the same. I'm not going to say it like they're the same. Don't put me in that.
Just a little booty tickle.
They're not the same. But a booty tickle that was captured on film. Let's be clear.
That's a joke.
It was a booty tickle captured on film with a woman probably half his age. And Urban Meyer's my man, 50 grand. But I think what Jamel Hill was saying, right? And I'm going to quote Jamel Hill now. She says, quote, "Though I think Sherrone Moore is a cornball, before we start painting his firing, Mel Tucker's and M.A. Udoka's as some kind of indictment of black male coaches, let me remind you of the following names: Hugh Freeze, Bobby Petrino, Rick Pitino, Mike Price, among others. The difference is in who gets a second chance to be a head coach, and you can guess who usually gets another chance." Is Sharon Moore a victim here too? And then the other thing, and this part of it, I'll combine them just so we can get this topic and move forward, is coaches have reported to administration that Sharon Moore had been showing signs of erratic behavior. He had been showing signs of maybe some sort of mental anguish that he was undergoing. And the athletic director decided to fire Sharon Moore, knowing that his whole world would collapse, knowing that his family would probably be under siege and maybe even leave him alone without any mental health professionals around him. What did he do? He acted on erratic behavior, drove over to said staffer's house, broke into her house, allegedly, held a knife to his own neck, and threatened to kill both himself after killing or doing harm to her. Leaves there, and where do they find him and how do they find him? They find him at church, at the church house. And the authorities were able to locate him because his wife had his location. The irony of that, if you got his location, I ain't gonna go down that hole. But
he was shook. He wasn't of his right mind. Tell your locations up. Well, I'm glad because that would have ended really bad.
But if she was able to get his location then, because there has been speculation that the wife knew the whole time. And I hate to put it out there right after we categorize her as a victim, but there have been rumors that the university.
So now you're accusing them of swingers?
That the university had it out for him. I don't think they were swingers. I haven't heard that ring.
So you don't think he's fired if he beats Ohio State, is what you're trying to say? Is that what you're going to get to? If they had beaten Ohio State, they'd have been straight? I'm just asking.
If they would have beat Ohio State, he would have beat
last year.
He would have beat the investigation for a second time. That's just the truth of the matter. Why? Because I just started off by telling you, Sharon Moore had the keys to the kingdom. He had the keys to the kingdom, the head coach of a program that's valued at $1.83 billion. Is Sharon Moore the victim here? Yes or no?
Never. He's impossible. It's impossible for him to be a victim in the situation that he caused for himself. Unless, like I asked you, technically, if you commit suicide, are you the victim? Because if that's the case, then you can self-inflict victimness to yourself. But he did this to himself. He knew he was soft. He knew he was playing with fire. And the other people that got up. So Petrino, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people gave themselves an opportunity to lay low. I'm trying to find the other dude. There was Mike Hayward was at Notre Dame.
Yeah, Mike Hayward ended up at Texas State. You said
Texas State after about a 4 or 5 year break from coaching. He ended up at
Texas State. His was the same thing. Back in South Bend, white, blonde woman. They had a kid together, and it was he was a victim. House, domestic violence.
He was a victim because it was a false claim of domestic violence, and the jury was out on him quick. And now Jamel Hill needed to bring him up because that was some stuff where you could say this doesn't happen this don't happen to everybody. But Mel Tucker got accused of sexually harassing a woman that tours the country to talk about how she was gang raped by a group of people. If you don't think that's not the person that you should be sending suggestive things to, then you shouldn't be in leading men, right? But he still has a chance at redemption because he was suing the university. He's doing whatever. Give it some time. You're going to probably see Mel Tucker in coaching again. And I never know how to say the guys from the Celtics.
Ime Udoka.
He had a second. What do you mean? She's act like he didn't get a second chance. He coaching already. He was coaching the same year.
Yeah, he went and coached some bums. Now they're better now.
But
he went from being on the cusp of winning a world championship.
Is he in the NBA?
He is in the NBA.
Fair. Stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
He's still NBA coach.
Now he's coaching Kevin Durant.
So the only reason why Sharon Moore couldn't survive this at all and not make any sort of comeback, he wanted to kill himself and he broke into their house and wanted to kill. That's the biggest part of it. And then, and to be honest,
understand.
And to be honest, if I'm being fair, let's be fair. They're kind of going easy on him on that. They didn't even say arrested. They gave him preferential
detained. Yeah, because of mental health. And someone says this, I don't know the name, but I appreciate you guys joining us. And it's the perfect time. So I think this is a new live audience member. Like we ask you every week, humbly, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. We about to get into this Notre Dame thing in a minute too.
Whoever Panorama Mayor is 3283, appreciate you coming out.
But she says, or he says, not a victim, but definitely has some mental health issues, and that's where I think that the university.
Now you giving excuses to the next man to get caught up. He's gonna claim mental health. What are you gonna say? The first thing was you claim sex addiction, which I told everybody he should have tried to claim sex addiction. If he didn't kill it, it's the knife. He fucked up. The knife thing is fucked up. You can't do nothing with that. Once you bust in her house, there's so many charges.
Yeah,
but they're giving him kick gloves. If you ask me, they're giving him kick gloves. We haven't seen that drawn everywhere. No, we haven't yet to see a mug shot or anything like that. For no
perp walk, none of that. They did show the mug shot. They showed the mug shot.
I didn't see it. Okay.
Yeah, there's a mug shot out there, but no perp walk.
No perp walk. And they didn't even say arrested. They said detained. They made it seem like they were more concerned with his life. So, you know what, man? For Donkey of the Day, Donkey of the Year, he probably is a buzzer beater for Donkey of the Year. If I would say, we got to talk to Charlamagne the God and see what he says.
Hell no. Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp had 50 million sitting around talking. And he messed with a girl half his age. That's a OnlyFans model.
No, he was using so many black men, white women. Chuck, you're right.
Shannon Sharp had the nerve to comment on this. Shannon Sharp had the nerve to comment on Notre Dame.
Because he survived. Because he survived it all. So, Sherman,
I don't dare throw stones, but Sherrone Moore, it's tough, man. It's tough watching you go through this, but it's a lot tougher watching your family go through it and the coaches that get piled into this. Jemele Hill has a point.
Too soon.
Too soon, but it is also too true. But we know it's true. It's like, if I know the rules of the game before the game starts, I can't be mad if I get caught breaking one of those rules when I knew the rules before the game started. And while it might not be fair, it's real. As a leader amongst men, young men, especially in that seat, one of the most coveted coaching positions in all of football.
All of sports.
$1.83 billion valuation. You know the rules of the game. And that's where I can't be too sympathetic. I am sympathetic to what seems like a mental health episode because it sounded like it was ramping up to that prior to this. And this was London bridges falling down. And look, you holding a knife to your own throat and threatening someone else's life. That's why they have, mitigating circumstances. Murder versus homicide is just mitigating circumstances, right? It's just where you were mentally. What is your mens rea? What is your mental state of being in that point? I do think he's going through a mental health episode. You give him
self-induced. You can't have. Come on, man. Maybe
I give you self-induced, but still mental health episode.
Green room. You putting me on the spot. Let's go to the green room and have this conversation. You can't do that and then claim mental health. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. That's like breaking into my house and then claiming you were scared for your life when you saw me, so you had to shoot me. What the fuck? You can't do that. Claim self-defense.
That's what they do in Florida.
What you broke in my house?
Texas.
You can't do that type of stuff. You can't claim mental health when you fucked your whole life up on your own. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to kill myself. Maybe you should have thought
I just don't understand why they continued the relationship after they were under investigation. They felt invincible.
That's where I wonder if she was like, look, motherfucker, stop calling me, man. They watching. And she had to come and change her mind. It's going to come out why she had to change her story. It had to come out because she's not a minor. It'll come out at some point why she changed her story. But maybe he was tripping, man. The man bust into her house and got a knife and held it to his own neck. That alone lets you know this dude is crazy as fuck, right?
Yeah. Not a gun, a knife.
A knife to his own neck. I'm gonna kill him. I promise. You get any closer, I'm gonna kill him. Man, go sit down. I hate to make the joke, but sometimes things are so stupid. You're like, man, what are you doing, man?
Same person, Panorama. I don't have my glasses, but I like that comment from a live audience. Says he'd been fired anyway. They were trying to get a better coach. He just provided him with the perfect for-cause reason. And you got to remember, the fruit of the poisonous tree, both the culture of sexual harassment and, masculine toxicity existed on the campus, led largely by Jim Harbaugh. And Jim Harbaugh signed off on this. He had something in his contract that guaranteed Sharon Moore the job. I don't know, man. Does this put a stain on Jim Harbaugh's legacy at the University of Michigan? Because this is from the fruit of the poisonous tree. And that tree is deeply rooted in Jim Harbaugh. Last word on it. Do you think this puts a stain on Jim Harbaugh, the championship? I mean, all of this seems like you have to start asking, is it worth it? Were Michigan fans, the University of Michigan, are they victim to this quest of winning a championship? So many people have thrown it in our face. Notre Dame ain't won since 1988. And we're going to get to the Notre Dame thing. And you can substitute Notre Dame for any other of the programs. LSU, is everybody so thirsty to win that they'll turn a blind eye to what is a horrible culture. And it seems like, by all accounts, from a leadership standpoint, a horrible human being.
I think it depends on how many recruits they lose and how far they fall next year. Otherwise, it's worth it. Everything's worth a championship as far as schools are concerned. No minors were harmed. There's no children involved. At the end of the day, sign stealing didn't matter. They won that same year anyway. I don't know what the other people got arrested for, but at the end of the day, Moore will be, they don't care. They could care less about him. He's done. He's out. Whatever. This staffer, they don't care. They'll give her some bread. Now they got all this extra bread from his buyout that they didn't have to have, so they can give her a little bread for her little lawsuit she's going to come up with. It's worth it. They won a championship. They won 2 or 3 Big Ten titles in the championship. They don't care. They care. They're going to act like they care, but it was worth it. Let's say that. They care, but it was worth it.
I just got to ask, man, like, wars have been started for the power of the P. That purse is crazy. Yeah. And now, in the case of Mars versus Venus, we lose again, man. Are we victims here? Are the men just victims? It's interesting if you think about Title IX and how we're trying to increase the presence of women on college campuses, but especially in college sports. And yet, the increase in terms of these sort of events. It's like the more we build up an environment where men and women can coexist in leadership positions, especially in college sports, which is big business, the more we see these stories happening. And I'm joking, but not. It's like literally undefeated. The power of the P is undefeated. Another one bites the dust. Sharon Moore, I'm wishing you nothing but the best when it comes to your mental health. But damn, man. Damn. And in other ways, I'm thanking him. Because Notre Dame was definitely headed for Donkey of the Week. And I'm going to tell you why. Just in terms of, like, we were losing when it came to the court of public opinion throughout the week. Everybody says if you're explaining, you're losing. We spent the whole week explaining. And I'll come full circle. But Sharon Moore said, hold my beer. What?